Now let's turn our attention to housing development as part of efforts to reduce the housing deficit in Lagos. The state says it's working towards delivering 7,000 homes by the third quarter of 2022. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu gave this assurance at the 10th National Council on Lands, Housing and Urban Development, which was also attended by the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola.
So very much.
Members of the federal as well as the state's Ministry of Works and Housing are gathered in Lagos for the 10th National Council on Lands, Housing and Urban Development to strategize on how to provide affordable housing for Nigerians and reduce the deficit. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, leads the discussion on housing development and appeals to state governments to allocate land for federal government housing projects.
As you might know, the federal government is undertaking a national housing in all states. That initiative is delivering about 5,000 units of housing across the states, and we are also trying to complete an inherited ministerial pilot housing scheme driven by the Federal Mortgage Bank, which is also delivering a little over 6,000 units. We must all come together, the 36 states, the FCT, and federal government, to really unleash the powers and the possibilities for prosperity that lie in housing inclusion. And so these are the reasons why I seek to persuade all members of this council to go back to our states, to go and persuade our governors to recommit to housing development. And I said purposely, recommit. I say this because I am aware that several states are doing something or the other. But what we need now is scale, a massive rollout across Nigeria. One reason why this will require an all-of-government action is the fact that land itself, which is a critical component for capital formation, is controlled by the states, not by the federal government. And I am persuaded that appropriate, targeted, and purposeful use of land, such as for the development of housing by states and the private sector, will unleash prosperity in all the states that aggregates to national prosperity.
He also raises the issue of delay in acquiring building permits, land documentation, which frustrates developers and individual homeowners. He wants to see a change in the system.
I have had the privilege of being a member of a committee set up by President Buhari to facilitate the ease of doing business across Nigeria. Again, this is a national rather than a federal government business. One of the parameters where we need to improve, and I thought it is important to share that in this council, when they are rating Nigeria in terms of ease of doing business, one of the places that we have not done well, and many of us may not know this, those are some of the things that those who do the rating look at, is how long it takes to get a building permit. And I thought that we should discuss that here, so that we understand that we can contribute to improving the national rating just by reducing some of the steps, making the bureaucracy more efficient, if necessary, automating it, and reducing the number of people it has to pass through without compromising your individual state objectives.
Babajide Sanwo-Olu, can you please applaud him more resoundingly?
Lagos State appears to be leading in the area of provision of housing schemes for the state government. It's hoping to do more at affordable prices.
Our activities in the past 2.5 years has resulted modestly in the commissioning and delivery of many housing schemes spread all over the state. We're hopeful that by the end of the year, we'll have done about 2,400 units from completion and commissioning, and we're believing that 5 additional ones that will be commissioned before the end of the year at the Ibeshe, Odo-Onosa, Agbowa, Shogotedo, and Gbagada will give us a total of about 16 different schemes that we're commissioning in 2.5 years. I also must mention that work is at various advanced stages, at various projects that we're doing. We're doing a project at Tulu in Ajegunle We're doing another one, agility, in Agboike too. There's another one we're doing at the Kota and Ogombo in Etiosa. We're working collaboratively with the private sector to develop housing units in Lupeju, in Ikeja. We're striving to go back to extensive regeneration and Adenija delay and a low-cost housing. We believe these are some of the prints that we need to change the face of Lagos. We believe that by the end of third quarter next year, we should have added over 7,000 new homes that will have been completed and will be handed over, to our citizens. So we're also working on developing new products, which will, like you said, which will purely be on a rental basis, right? Lagos is the culprit, where you have a lot of Sherlocks and very hard landlords that want you, to go and bring 2 years rent, 3 years rent in advance, when you're earning your monthly pay in arrears. And so we're working, at developing a product where even with the private sector, we can ensure that they insist, at paying, monthly rent in arrears.
The latest project coming from the state government is a civil servants housing scheme in the Imota area of Ikorodu.
We've extensively given approval in that regard. We've identified land at Imota, and we're believing that on a phased basis, we could develop up to about 4,000 two-bedroom and in some cases 3-bedroom that will be targeted, at our civil servants, especially the low earners, in that whole bracket. So this has been identified at Imota. I've also given land to TUC and NLC, the Nigerian Labour Union and the TUC, the Trade Union Congress, just so that they also can bring their members, in a cluster, and they can start development, in the various parts of the state.
Deliberations from this meeting are expected to form policies and reform that will bring about urban renewal, job creation, and economic development across the country.